Hi, I'm Julie McCullough, and today I have with me National Geographic photographer and Executive Director of Ripple Effect Images, Annie Griffiths. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
What's an example of a time you can remember when you captured a moment that really evoked something that someone in a different culture was experiencing or suffering through?
Well, I think one of the formative times in my life was when I spent about 5 years working in the Middle East. And most of the Middle East is sort of gender separate. And there had been so many male photographers who couldn't tell the women's stories. And I got to be with the women and tell their stories and show, how smart and funny and resourceful they were. And that privilege really helped me understand that women's stories in the developing world are rarely told in terms of what they're capable of, who they are. We hear a lot about them as victims, but that's so limiting and not particularly helpful. But when you really see the potential and the intelligence and the joy and determination in women's lives, then you're getting somewhere.
So that kind of brings me to, you are the Executive Director of Ripple Effect Images.
I am.
Yeah, explain what really inspired you to start that and what you aim to accomplish with it.
Well, I'd done aid work for many, many years, and so had some of my female colleagues at National Geographic, and some of the guys too, but I was really aware that there was a group of women who gave a piece of every year to covering aid work with women and girls. And I decided to take a lesson from the women around the world that if we would work together, we could probably get a lot more done.
So how do you believe that helping women and girls in developing countries helps the world overall globally?
Oh, it's key. I mean, I think it's the best investment the world can make in our shared future. I really do, because women and girls, the statistics are clear, they pay forward any opportunity they have to their kids, their family, their community. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we're called Ripple Effect Images, because women lead that ripple effect, and one opportunity leads to another to another. And in countries where half the population is disenfranchised, is not empowered to be contributing, there's no chance for those countries to really thrive. Mm. It takes honoring your entire population, not just one gender.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, I know that you, during your travels with National Geographic and as a photographer, you brought your children along with you and raised them all over the world.
I did.
What was that like? And
so fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. They were great little travelers, In fact, my daughter was in 13 countries before she was born. So they didn't know anything else. And, I was careful to propose and choose assignments that were compatible. But, when you stay home, the world looks so much scarier out there than it really is. And when you do your due diligence and look into these different parts of the world, you realize that most places are safer than any American city, in terms of an experience, a life experience. So, yeah, we packed up and traveled all over the world.
Mm-hmm. And did that help you to kind of connect with the different cultures and learn about them a little more, them seeing you, with your children?
As a mom.
Yeah.
No, that's a great question, and it's very true. I think there are a lot of advantages to being a woman in journalism. I think, you're trying to earn people's trust. Right. And women tend to be less threatening, and moms tend to be less threatening. And, right. And so even if I'm a different color and I speak a different language and I'm unchaperoned and I'm really this aberration, I pull out pictures of my children and suddenly we can relate. Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great. What do you think is the best experience you've had traveling?
It's what you make of it, and the gift that National Geographic gives us that's, invaluable is the gift of time. So to have time to really be with people and understand them in the process of telling their stories. There's nothing quite like it. And I've had 30 plus years of that, so it's extraordinary, you know. And from each experience, your eyes get opened a little wider and a little wider. And I think then through your own life experiences, your heart gets opened wider and wider. And, you know, it's just an enormous privilege.
Absolutely. So for my last question for you today, I want to know, why do you think that photography is the strongest way of evoking change in the world, or a good medium of, you know, telling stories that people will want to make change?
Well, I think there are many ways to tell stories, but without a visual component, without being able to humanize facts and statistics and examples, there's a void in how much people can relate to it. Once you, I mean, it's even that old saying that it's very easy to hate a nation. It's very hard to hate an individual. And that's really what photography does, is you see a human being or the realities on the ground for people, and then there's a level of understanding that happens that goes to the heart and goes to the mind and reminds us that the whole population is made up of individuals, most of whom want the same things in their lives that we do.
Very nice. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching this last segment of the semester with the University Lecture Series, and we will see you next semester.